All right, today's lesson is on unit rate. So we've been talking about ratios. Ratio is just a comparison of two things. So a unit rate is also just another form of a rate, okay? So if I have the word unit, unit implies one, and that's exactly what we're looking at. We're comparing something to one. So here's an example. I have these 5 candy bars here, and they're going to cost me $6.75. To figure out the unit rate just means I want to figure out how much one candy bar costs, okay? That's just figuring out how much one costs, okay? So in order to do that, we're always just going to set up a ratio. So if I look at this one, if I want to set up a ratio, so right now I can buy, for $6.75, I can buy 5 candy bars, okay? But I want to know how much one candy bar costs. Okay, you're always going to put, when you set up your ratio, you're always going to put whatever you want to become the one, whatever you want to figure out one as, on bottom, okay? Because that's going to help you out when you divide. All right, so then you're going to just simply divide $6.75 divided by 5. So if I divide that by 5, it comes out to be $1.35. So it's $1.35 for one candy bar. Okay, so unit rate is for just one. All right, so let's look on yours. Now you have a notes page, so go ahead and get that out. And let's look at it. So here's another thing that we compare a lot is miles per hour, miles per gallon, things like that. So I've already set up the ratio for you. All you have to do is simply divide. Remember, another thing that when it looks like a fraction like this, that is simply a division bar. Okay, so 90 miles in 3 hours, but I want to know how far I can go in 1 hour. That's my unit rate. So I simply divide it. So 90 divided by 3, that gives me 30 miles. Okay, I want you to make sure you're writing this part down. Okay, I don't want just 30 as your answer. I want you to say 30 miles per hour. Okay, you can write it like this, or you can say 30 miles per hour. Okay, all right, let's look at the next one. I've already set the ratio up for you. So 108 cookies in 6 boxes, but I want to know how many cookies are in 1 box. If you set up the ratio correct, it's going to make it really easy. You can grab your calculator and put 108 divided by 6, and that comes out to be 18, I think. Yep, 18. 18 cookies per box. Okay, 18 cookies per box. Now let's move to some word problems where you're going to actually have to set up the ratio. Okay, so again, you're going to have to figure out what the two things we're comparing. So Miss Douglas, again, this is in your notes. Miss Douglas rides her bike for about 36 miles in 4 hours. So let's stop there. That's our ratio, so let's set it up. So 36 miles in 4 hours. Okay, if she maintains at a constant speed, how many miles would she ride each hour? So each hour, so that means hours needs to be on bottom. So make sure you've set that up correctly. All right, so now you just simply divide. 36 divided by 4 gives me 9 miles per hour. Pretty good, 9 miles per hour. All right, let's look at the next one. Calvin drove 456 miles in 8 hours. How far did he drive in 1 hour? So that means hours needs to go on bottom. So set up your ratio, 456 miles in 8 hours. But I want to know how far he went in 1 hour. Okay, so simply grab your calculator, 456 divided by 8. So that would be 56 miles in 1 hour. That's how far he drove. Okay, let's go to the next one. Jonathan is baking loaves of bread to sell for the fundraiser. He used 9 cups of water and 12 cups of flour. How much water did he use per cup of flour? Per cup of flour. So that means flour needs to go on bottom. All right, so 9 cups of water and 12 cups of flour. Do you see how I'm labeling these so I know what I'm talking about here? Okay, and I want to know 1 cup of flour. Right, So in this case, I'm going to divide. So 9 divided by 12, 9 divided by 12. So when you take that out, it becomes 0.75 cups of water, which is 3/4. Okay, so 3/4 cups of water for 1 cup of flour. Okay. All right, let's keep going. All right, this is your turn now. I want you to pause the video and I want you to come back when you have these completed. Now, if you don't pause the video, it's not hurting anybody but yourself. So pause it and try to work it out yourself. All right, check your work here. All right, hopefully you saw that I am underlining like this, the 1 minute. So that reminds me that that minute needs to go on bottom. The reason I keep harping on what goes on bottom, because if you set up your ratio wrong, then when you divide, it's going to be messed up, okay? So you have to make sure you set up the ratio correct or your answer will be wrong when you divide, okay? Per teacher, so that means the teachers needs to go on bottom, okay? All right, let's keep going. We got a couple more questions together. All right, you go to the store and you see that you can buy 4 avocados for $8. How much does each avocado cost? All right, so this is when you want to make sure you know what goes on top and what goes on bottom for your ratio. Each avocado, so that means avocados needs to go on bottom. Avocados needs to go on bottom. And what's on top? This 8 represents money. Now, I'm going to tell you this, for the majority of the time, if you're dealing with money, money's going to go on top. Okay, almost always money will go on top because you would want to be figuring out how much the cost is per item. So most of the time, money will always go on top. So I want to know how much 1 avocado costs. Okay, if I could spell it right. So if I divide 8 divided by 4, okay, what would that be? Right? So $2, okay? All right, why don't you go and do this one and this one. Do those 2 problems. Come back when you have your answer. Remember, pause the video, come back when you have your answer. All right, check your answers. Okay, 75 cents for 1 donut. And then after I made a big deal about most of the time when you're dealing with money, it's gonna go on top. This one actually did not. Do you see how it said per dollar? So that means the dollar needs to be on bottom. So sorry about that, but I still think most of the time when you deal with money, it's gonna go on top, okay? All right, so this one over here is a little different. It's comparing. So we're looking at 2 things. We're looking at figuring out which one is the lower price. So in order for something to be the better deal, it's going to be the cheapest price, the one that has the lowest price per ounce. So I can buy one shampoo for $6 for 8 ounces, or the other one $4 for 5 ounces. So let's just set it up. So we've got $6 for 8 ounces. Oops, 8 ounces. Or we've got $4 for 5 ounces. Okay, so let's just set it up. I want to know how much this is for 1 ounce, and I want to know how much this one is for 1 ounce. Okay, so I'm going to do 6 divided by 8. 6 divided by 8. All right, so that ends up being 75 cents per ounce. Then when I come over here, $4 divided by 5, and that comes up 0.8, which we're dealing with money, so that means we have to finish out that another spot. So that would be 80 cents. All right, so which one is the lower price? Well, this one is the lower price because it is cheaper for 1 ounce. It's cheaper per ounce. Okay. All right, what I want you to do to finish up is I want you to finish up these by yourself, and I want you to set up the ratio just like we had before, setting them up just like this. I want to see the work. Okay. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. Have a great day.